Alright, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another part of my playthrough of Angels with Scaly Wings. So I'm not satisfied with where the ending kind of left off. We got the neutral ending of the game, and there's a lot more to discover with this game, and it might not be as interesting as just doing the initial run of the game, because we kind of know what to expect for the most part from the story now, but there's going to be a lot of little subtle changes and some things that may not have happened in the first time around. So I'm kind of curious to kind of explore more of this game and get the true ending of the game eventually, hopefully. Because I don't want to leave off like where we did, you know what I mean? Because it was kind of shit. But yeah, let's just go ahead and get back into this game. So, April 4th. Okay, so it literally leaves you back off. I kind of get like 12-minute vibes off of this game at this point, right? Getting teleported back in time like this. It is kind of eerily similar to 12 Minutes, which is another indie game. What's going on, Dark Lizard? It says, "Sup, man, I thought we finished this." Well, kind of we did, right? But we didn't get the true ending of the game. We got just one of the many endings of the game. So what I actually was planning on doing tonight, Dark, was I wanted to explore more with the characters. And I want to, because notice on my YouTube channel, part 2, I did not list it as being the final part. Because I did eventually plan on going through this game again. But we'll see how this goes. My plan is hopefully we can get on good terms, because I did look a little bit more into this game, and supposedly you're supposed to get on good terms with all of the characters, and then you can see the true ending of the game. So basically, all the characters in this game, the way it works is like they all have like a status with you. They're either on bad terms with you, on neutral terms with you, or they're on good terms with you. And that's all kind of like in the background, so you don't really know exactly. But people have dissected this game, of course, and they kind of know the ins and outs of it. And there's guides online to kind of show you like the things that you should say to these characters to improve their standing with you. And there's actually a Steam community page which kind of helps guide you through this game, and also shows you all the different achievements you can get for it as well. So this was already read. There's nothing different with this. Actually, hold on a second. We should be able to, yeah, skip the scene messages, right? Because didn't we already see this? This is the beginning of... Yeah, this is the beginning of the first chapter right here. Not sure why it's not skipping that. It's set to skip scene messages. I'm a little confused by that. Why is it not skipping? You can skip all messages as well. After choices, you can stop skipping. What happens if we keep skipping? We've already seen it, right? My records indicate you have already experienced this section in a satisfactory manner. If you wish, we could skip sections like these which you have already cleared before. No need to read everything again. Isn't that great? How is this different from just using the skip button, you might ask? Well, here's the deal. Using the skip buttons can be tedious, especially when encountering puzzles you've already solved before, or when faced with long dialogue trees. Sometimes it's just easier to jump over a whole section than speeding it up, you know? So during relevant sections, I will come in and ask if you don't want to just outright jump ahead. Sound good so far? Yes, it does. Anyway, there are times when you might still want to choose not to jump ahead like this and use the skip buttons as usual. That's totally fine. Both methods have their own advantages and disadvantages. Jumping ahead will often skip minor choices that can be made, especially during character sections with lots of dialogue options. This can include parts that would unlock new achievements. However, jumping ahead will never skip important choices that you have to make, such as those that could result in good endings or the choices you make during your investigations. Yeah, so these are things we definitely don't want to skip. I don't want to skip the, even if it's relatively trivial with the characters, because I don't know exactly how well we need to do with the characters in order to unlock their good endings, because we need to unlock all of them before we can actually see the true ending. So it's up to you whether you want to use it or not, but it might save you some time. Either way, the choice is yours. Would you like to skip ahead? Well, we've got this save point here, right? So let's just skip ahead for now and see what happens. Okay, so now we get to meet with the characters. Alright, so I guess we'll start with Remy. He's the first one that we actually meet in the game, right? So let's start with him and see where this goes. So he's the one that has us do that, what do you call it? The book sorting section, right? So that's kind of a pain in the butt. So let me get this guide here for this. Give me 1 second here. Okay, so on this guide that I'm looking at on Steam, on the Steam community page, they have a link to a guide by someone called Ethan. But when you click on it, it says it's not available, so it's a dead link. So I'm gonna have to look it up somewhere else. Hang on. I'll just look up the librarian. Yeah. Okay. See if I can get this thing here. 3 guides. Okay. Damn, they've got a whole guide on here specifically for all the options that you should pick if you want to get a 1,000 gamer score on this, like all the completionist stuff. That's kind of crazy. People have really dissected the hell out of this game, which is really insane. But you can actually beat this game. Like, if you really know what you're doing with all of the choices, you can actually beat this game 100% in under an hour. It's all about the choices that you're making in the game. So, and if you're just skipping through everything and you know exactly what you need to do, it's very possible to beat this game in under an hour. But obviously, that's not the way I want to play it. I want to actually like do it legit, if that makes any sense. But book sorting order. I'm trying to look for the exact order for this. Organizing the books. Here we go. Okay, I found a little list for it. All right, so we're good. My records indicate you have already experienced this scene in a satisfactory manner. Would you like to skip to the... Oh. Yes, but did I... This might skip some of the dialogue options, though, right? So there is a guide to... on the Steam community page, and this is why I have this open on my phone right now, because it shows you exactly what you need to say on all of the quote-unquote dates with Remy. So let's not skip it. I'm actually not going to skip this. And I'm not going to do all the reading of it because I've already done this. That's why I said I don't think part 3 is going to be anywhere near as entertaining. Just a heads up right off the bat. It's not going to be as entertaining as the first couple parts of this playthrough. Because I'm not going to reread things I've already read in the game. So the first thing I need to say here is actually better be safe than sorry. Now this will change some of the dialogue, right? Because we didn't say this the first time around. I think I said not like I had anything better to do the first time around. So you actually should say better be safe than sorry. Well, I'm glad to see you again at any rate. Who was that back there? Guess you heard that, didn't you? That was my superior. She's the Ministry of Culture and Arts, which means I'm technically in her employment, though generally speaking I work for the council at large, not just her. So this is where you work, huh? Most of the time, yes. That actually did not change the dialogue like I thought it would. I guess I'll go ahead and just read it, because otherwise this is going to be kind of boring, isn't it? That makes you a librarian, I suppose. There's a little more to it. I'm not just in charge of the books. I'm a scholar and study them too. For example, if the council requests knowledge on certain topics like facts, statistics, or other information of interest, it is part of my job to research it and present it to them in an appropriate manner. Okay, so here's the second choice here. So I'm supposed to say, sounds like the kind of thing I'd like. It sounds like the kind of thing I'd like to do. Guess you came to the right place then. Anyways, was there a particular reason why you wanted to meet me? Okay, so... I was interested in what you said the other day. You have myths about humans? Oh, right. I still have work to do, but I could show you something afterwards. Either way, now that you're here, you could help me with something. I've got some books that need to be sorted over there. Okay? So, supposed to say alphabetically intuitive. Alright, how do I fit them in? Alphabetically? Oh no, the arrangement you see in this library is based on a sophisticated system that sorts everything in a very intuitive manner based on a number of criteria. Genre, author, complexity, and age. As you can probably tell, we have a lot of specimens, so just sorting them by alphabet would be far from sufficient. Alright, so... supposed to say intuitive. That does sound very intuitive. It is. Basically, these 8 books you see over there were all part of a section that was moved, so they have to be sorted into their new area. The problem is their labels are so old that they've started to fade away, which makes sorting them a little harder. They will get new labels soon, but until then, we'll just have to make do with what we have here. All of them are by a name I'm not even going to try to pronounce, a writer on the subject of history, and a very prolific one, I might add. You will find the shelf they belong to over there. Now it is just a matter of placing them in the right order, from oldest to newest. I have written down everything still legible from the old labels here. For someone like you, putting them in order shouldn't be a problem. In any case, I'll be working on something else in the meantime, so let me know once you're done. Alright. So here's the hints that you get. Okay. So let me go back to the guide on here. So, the Inception is first. The second book is The First War. See, we did go through this, I do remember this, but there will be scenes that I did not experience with these characters. That's for sure. There's definitely some scenes that I did not experience on the first playthrough, because I was trying to get a little bit of knowledge about each character on the first run. But I'm going to be exploring these characters a little bit more in depth on this playthrough. That's for sure. So this may take several playthroughs to actually get the real ending of the game. So, the second book is The First War. The third book is The Enlightenment. The fourth book is The Second War. Fifth book is the invention. The sixth book is the spark. Seventh book is the third war. And then the tribe. Oh, you're done? Let's take a look then. Oh shit, I fucked up. Looks like 6 books are in the right place though. Alright, let me try again. Hang on. So I fucked that up. God dang it. I got a guide and I still fucked up. Let me put the phone closer to me. So the Inception's first. The second book is the First War. The third book is the Enlightenment. Fourth book is the Second War. Fifth is the Invention. Sixth is the Spark. And then the Third War. This guy fucked up then. Ah, actually, someone said that's actually off. I'm reading it on a form, so... You bastard, you fucked up. Now, I don't know if that actually affects my fucking playthrough, too. Does it? Like, how accurate do I need to be on this? Let me just start this shit over. Yeah, so let's go ahead and just skip this. I like to skip to the character selection. Yes. Okay. Let's just do this again. No. I want to go through this as legit as I can. I know it's a little cheap because I'm using a guide, but... So this scene we've already experienced, basically. Better be safe than sorry. Sounds like the kind of thing I'd like. And you can kind of tell by his facial reaction, too, when you're making good choices, because he actually smiles at that. Alright, so... Myths about humans. So that could be an actual indication for the that the game's giving you here. That's something I didn't pick up on the first time around, because I had no idea, like, if I was making the right choices or whatnot, so... But that's something I'm noticing now, is he's smiling, like, every time I'm saying something correct. Or not necessarily correct, but, you know, things that he likes to hear. Okay, so how do I fit them in alphabetically? Sounds very intuitive. Okay, and now back to that form. Yeah, so that guy was definitely close. He had 6 of 8 of them correct. This one corrected it. So the first one is the Inception. Ah, yeah, I can already see where he screwed up. Okay. Second book is the First War. Third book is the Tribe. The fourth book is the Second War. Fifth book is the Invention. Sixth book is the Spark. Seventh book is the Third War. and the 8 book is Enlightenment. Alright. And he likes it. Good shit. Alright, so that's it. And now we should say... I didn't know I could have this much fun in a library. Sure thing. Yeah, I'm actually not going to read through this. Because it's the same dialogue pretty much regardless. But on new dates, quote-unquote dates, if you want to call them dates, those are the ones that I will actually do narration for the characters with. Okay. Alright, so we're supposed to say sorry. She did it in the Canadian voice. Sorry. Okay. Actually, I am. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it doesn't look like the saying different choices is actually really having an effect on the dialogue. It may be very subtly different. I can't remember exactly, like, word for word what they were saying the first time around, but it may be slightly different, possibly, but it's pretty much exactly the same. Maybe even exactly the same, literally, but... Okay, now we're supposed to say... nothing supernatural. Okay, I think that's it for that. Now, one thing that I did learn about this game too when I looked it up after I beat it, of course. I didn't look up really anything about this game until after I actually completed a first run through of it. Okay, actually, hang on. We're supposed to say speechless when I saw you. Anyway, as I was saying, one thing that I learned is that you actually keep the items. So remember that. So it made me think back to the end of the first playthrough where he picked up the gun. So we actually should have a gun on us now in the game. So that's going to be interesting to see how that affects the second run through when we get to the end. Are we going to be able to shoot Raza? You know, is he going to still have a gun? Like, does it clone the gun? I'm not sure exactly how that works. If you, like I said, if you like that kind of like timeline mechanic manipulation type stuff, you definitely enjoy 12 minutes because it's all about playing with that kind of idea. It's a pretty interesting indie game. And it's all about using these different kind of choices too. It's kind of similar mechanics-wise to this game, in that regard at least. So 12 Minutes was actually a very interesting game as well. I actually 100%ed it on here. Okay, so we are supposed to... I'm assuming we're probably supposed to just wait. It doesn't really say on here. This might not actually matter. Let's wait even longer. So at this point, we just... Well, I remember what actually ends up happening is you actually go through his computer, right? And then he screws his computer up. I really did enjoy voice acting these characters in this game, but unfortunately it's gonna be off and on with me narrating because many of these scenes we've already seen. I don't really feel like voice acting all this again, you know, stuff that we've already seen. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So it's just going to be a matter of getting to the next scenes, basically. The ones that are new. These characters. I think I broke it. I got bored. Yeah, some of these choices I don't think matters, because they're not listed on the guide. This one matters. Actually, I do, is listed on here. Okay, so we also need to say, we need to mention the human myths. I'd like to know more about your human myths. Well, it seemed to go well, because he wants to have us over for dinner now. Good night, even though it's clearly daytime outside. I wondered whether the dragon was being nice or just didn't want to feel indebted to me after I helped him. In any case, the time I spent in the library had been enjoyable, and I was looking forward to seeing him again. Though I wondered about his insistence on inviting me into his home. Had I just been asked out by a dragon? I was going to find out soon enough. I think that's new, right? I don't recall seeing that message the first time around. Okay, so that went very well. So now, we can, I guess, we can choose a second one, right? So, trying to think of who else we should do. So, Anna is actually listed as one of the harder characters, and I'm not surprised by that at all, because I remember she was kind of a bitch in the first playthrough. So you kind of have to definitely take your time with her, because to really try to get her to open up, right? So let's meet with her, so we can kind of get her out of the way too. I'm not sure if you can get, like, I'm not sure how this is going to go if both characters are on good terms. Like, are we going to get both of their good endings? I'm not really sure. I'm just kind of playing this by ear and trying my best to get these characters to like me, so we can get as many of the good endings as we can, as quickly as we can. So we'll see how this goes. So we've already done this scene as well. Okay. So, So I remember in the first playthrough, I did actually do this correctly, right? Because it's actually on the guide, it's listed that you're supposed to just beat her at that card game or whatever. Remember that shit? The general knowledgeist. You get an achievement for it. In terms of the second one, I'm not sure. Did I get the Interrogator 2? Because that's an achievement for basically doing well on the second one. I didn't even get the first one. So I doubt I got the second. Yes, I did not get the second one. Okay. But this is the first one, right? So I should be good to just skip this. Hopefully. What? What? Okay, let's rewind that. No, don't skip ahead. She wins. That's bullshit. That's not what happened in my playthrough. I beat her. Yes, I cheated, but I beat her. I remember, I remember specifically, I said, I'm gonna look it up because she's being such a bitch. I remember I said something like that. I clearly remember it. I actually beat her that time around, so I don't know why the system in the game is like, no, she's gonna win. No. Because apparently, according to the guide, you're supposed to beat her. You need to beat her. So this I don't think matters too much. General knowledgeist. So we're gonna have to probably go back in this guide here. Hold on. Damn, there's a lot of fucking achievements in this. There's the Interrogator 2. There's Interrogator 1. That's not until Chapter 2. General knowledgeist. That's not listed on here, so it's not chapter specific. Where is that at? General knowledgeist. I might have to look it up on a separate guide. I don't know why it's not on here. General knowledgeist. Let's go Scaly wings. Okay, well, I got it on here, so I got all the answers again. So I don't think this matters too much, which one you choose here. Hopefully. I guess we can just... I guess we can choose whatever here. Just be honest, I saw everything. It's a good thing people dissected this, because this would be very, very difficult without an in-depth guide to kind of guide you, because who's to say, like, I don't know how specific you need to be. Like, how precise with your actions do you actually need to be in the game? Like, if you mess up with one dialogue on a minor choice, like, is that it? You know what I mean? Like, who knows? It could be insanely hard, or it could be fairly lenient. There's really no way to know unless you really dig into this game and kind of get a feel for it. You know what I mean? Yeah, I just wish the dialogue was different, because it would make it a little bit more interesting, right? Say it would be my pleasure. Okay, so first one, and Remy actually gave us the answer to this technically. First question. Okay. It doesn't really matter. Coffee tastes like shit. Ugh, I hate coffee. Just a soda. I don't know why people like coffee. I think it tastes like shit. Alright, I think she was just trying to be friendly. Yeah, again, I don't think these choices really matter. The only ones that I think matter, technically, are just beating her at this card game. At least that's the way it seems, just judging by the guide here. Definitely curious to see how this is gonna go, you know? Like I said, if you really want to see these scenes in full and hear me narrate on them, if you haven't already, this was in the first stream. I narrated over this because this is very early on in the game. So. Alright. Board game, here we go. Okay. Round one. Alright, bring it. I can't lose. Alright, the first one is this terrorist sounding name. Round two. Round two is 3. And round 3 is none of these. Alright, ended in a tie. That is right. That's the right way to end this. And maybe you still get the second date with her anyway. I'm not really sure. But I didn't want to take any chances. Yes. Plus, I just really enjoy beating her at this game. Yeah, so obviously the game goes by a lot faster when I'm not reading everything, right? It's like the whole game is just the text, after all, so... Alright, so we are in Chapter 2 now. So... Scroll back up to Remy. No, we're not going to skip. I want to see how this is going to go, actually. I want to see if Remy contacts us, or if we have to contact him. Ah, it's Bryce. Okay, we'll say sure. Sign me up. So, next year is actually the year of the dragon in the Chinese zodiac, for those that are not aware. And I'm probably going to go through this on my own time and try to get all of the trophies for this game on PS4, actually. I'm going to actually be playing this game. Actually, I have a list, actually, of games that are just all about dragons. Like, anything dragon-related, features dragon characters. I actually have a list of those games that I will be playing next year and doing playthroughs on for the channel. So, just to give you guys a heads up. I don't know if I'm necessarily going to do like a trophy run of this. I might. I mean, it's not going to be anything interesting, but just so I could say, yep, I platinumed it and I got through the main game, you know, just for the hell of it, basically. Just because I want to play a shitload of dragon-related games next year, because actually the Year of the Dragon only comes by like once every 12 years, so it's going to be a long time to wait for another Year of the Dragon. You could probably guess the first game I'm probably going to be playing is actually going to be Spyro 3, the Year of the Dragon, next year, because it's just too perfect. So yeah, that's going to... And it's funny, the Platinum Trophy for that game is actually... it's called Party Like It's 2024. So there you go. So I got to get that trophy next year, man. I'm gonna be partying like it's 2024 in 2024. No way. Yeah, I remember this area. Oh, and I was reading more about this game too. You remember that hatchery place, that old like worn down house with the eggs in it or whatever in this game later on? I think it was in the 4th chapter. Remember how Bryce insisted that he go in first, and I was like, no, I got a bad feeling about that. I don't think you should. That was a good call on my part, because, spoiler alert, if you have him go in, he gets killed. So, that was a good call on my part. I saved his life, without even knowing that I did. Because I swear to God, I had no idea that was going to be the outcome. Until after I finished the game, and I was reading up on the game afterwards. So that was actually a very good move on my part. But so I did make some good choices in this game, it looks like, because I did have a couple of good quote-unquote dates with the dragons, right? I wasn't on super good terms with any of them. I knew all of them a little bit, right? And I didn't focus enough on one specific character because I wanted to kind of get a feel for each one of them the first time around, see what they were about. So we already know about all this. Wonder if this is going to go any differently. Probably not, but like, is my character going to remember this masked person? Yeah, I don't think any of this matters really. But I'm just a little curious here if I don't want to skip it because I want to see if this changes at all. Like I said, I don't think it will. But let's see for myself if it does at all. Yeah, I was definitely debating on whether... I was actually debating for several days, actually, on whether I should finish this game on my own time, you know, offline, or if I should stream this and record it, my experience with getting the rest of the endings, or how I should go about this. Because I was curious enough, I didn't want to leave it off like that, but it's just a matter of, do I really want to stream and record the rest of it? I just decided, you know, fuck it. I should, right? I might as well. You could technically just leave it off at the end of part 2, and you could just leave it up to interpretation. Leave it up to your imagination, I guess, if you want to, but... Push sideways and fell to the ground. Yep, same as the last time. Says the exact same thing. Yep, so that doesn't change at all. Yeah, I had a lot of fun narrating all these characters though, man. Supposedly there's actually going to be a sequel to this game. It is in development, so I'll definitely be checking out the sequel when that eventually comes out. It's been in development for a couple of years, but you know, you got to remember this is being made by, I think, one person. So who knows how long it's going to take to actually come out, you know. But he has been teasing it. I looked up online and he did a April Fool's joke saying like, "Oh, I got a demo of the game out," and it's actually a demo of the first game, this one. So, yeah, but he's definitely working on it. So, kind of says a lot about the gaming industry, though, doesn't it? When I'm more looking forward to indie games, like these weird niche indie games. I'd rather be playing these than like any of the new AAA games, because at least these are different, right? You really don't know what to expect going into games like this, whereas with a AAA game, you kind of know exactly what you're going into. It's like it's all the same thing, you know. Like, what are you gonna get with Far Cry 6? You know exactly what you're gonna get, you know. With something like this, you have no fucking clue what's gonna happen. I mean, let's be honest, right? I think this is far more interesting, if nothing else. So anyway, I'm not sure if this actually matters. Maybe it does. For the investigation, right? Is this considered like another investigation? Really not sure. Trying to look. You know what, I'll look into this more later. But there is a lot of different little side things to discover with this. Well, I'm not really trying to get on Bryce's good side in this playthrough. I'm going to focus on like the two characters, the Anna and Remy, this time around anyway. Maybe this whole thing is just a huge... I didn't say this the first time around. See, I'm curious if how this is going to change. Maybe subconsciously he'll remember, like your character might remember some of this, but it doesn't seem to be the case, at least not so far. Because your character is saying the exact same things and the exact same things are happening. I was definitely curious to see how much this would actually change on the next playthrough. And I gotta say, so far, it looks like it really is not changing at all. Now, I'm sure later on, that might be different, but for right now, it's like very much the same. So, and in order to get the bad ending in this game, you basically just have to be a dick to everybody the whole time. And you have to go through one playthrough first. You have to, which basically, you're supposed to get the neutral ending first. So when I said that, like on the end of my last part, that oh, I got the bad ending, it's actually kind of, you're supposed to get that ending at first, technically. Apparently it makes the most plot sense to start with. And some of the endings you can't actually unlock until you've completed the game at least once. So in order to get the true ending, you have to go through it multiple times. Okay, so now we get into the next part of this, right? Now, so here's some things we did not do the first time around. What did we not do the first time around? We did not visit the grocery store. So here's something I'm actually going to narrate, alright? Because we haven't actually done this. I entered the store, the sound of a bell alerting the staff to my arrival. Seeing the patrons browsing the shelves, neatly stocked with wares of all kinds, evoked some feelings of nostalgia and normalcy in me. This must be the store Rez has been shopping at. Who's he talking to? Hey, I think I've seen her before. I'm sorry, but this prescription has expired. I can't fill it like this. You'll need to tell your parents to visit the doctor so he can write you a new one. She turned around, nearly running into me when she suddenly bolted towards the door. Hello, Prince. How can I help you? You know who I am? How could I not? Everyone knows about you. Anyway, how can I help you? Okay, so I'm kind of curious what we should do here, but... you know what, though? I mean, it's only my second playthrough, right? So, we'll just go through it on my own. Like, I'm not gonna even look at the guide for this. So... who was that? I mean, the girl? That's Vera. Okay. She comes here occasionally to pick up her mother's prescription. Do you remember Raza coming in? Of course I do. It's only been a few days since he was last here. This will sound a little unusual, but can you tell me what he bought? Are you just talking about last time or every time he came here? Both, I suppose. He came here more than once? He's been visiting pretty regularly now that I think about it. Interesting. I can look up his purchases if you like. That would be really helpful. Shouldn't be too hard. Just give me a second. I watched him carefully navigate the register's buttons, soon followed by the sound of the detached printer. Here you go, receipts from all his purchases. Well, that was easy. Since our government takes care of all his purchases, they're filed separately. It was simple to pull them up. Looks like he bought mostly food and snacks, sometimes magazines. But why was he buying lemons every single time? I can't say that I didn't notice, but I figured it was just a human thing. Strange. In any case, that was more information than I expected. You have my thanks. You're welcome. Alright, just browsing. Browse around. What am I even looking for? Alright, so we can look at the meat, produce, bread. What's in the health aisle? Everything from food supplements to skincare and even birth control. The variance in product sizes is astounding, especially when talking about the birth control. I think these ones could fit on my arm. Jesus. Alright, what about the produce? Who would have thought that dragons are big on produce? I don't even recognize some of these. What about the bread? They have a surprisingly big selection. Yeah, I see that, actually. Since when do dragons eat bread anyway? I guess at least I'm covered in case I want any melon bread. Hey, you! Are you talking to me? Yes, what do you say, melon or lemon bread? I mean, the only difference between the two is like one letter, so how am I supposed to choose? I don't think that's how it works. Why don't you just go with the one you think you'll like more? That's a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? Is that a cardboard box on her head? That's exactly what I was wondering. What is she, like, Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid or some shit? Fresh meat, smoked meat, cured meat, dried meat, prepackaged meat, prepared meat, ready to go. Jesus, they have everything here. Okay, I get it. I get it. They have everything. And that's not even all of it. Needless to say, they have that area covered. Well, that's all I can do here, actually. I looked at everything the store has to offer. Oh, I got an achievement for that. Window shopper. Alright, so that's it. I suppose that's all I can do here. Alright, I've got some more time left. What should I do? Well, I remember the first time around, didn't we go to Tetsu Park? I think we did the first time around. But what did we not do the first time around? I wish I could remember. Because I did two things, right? I visited Tetsu Park. What was the other thing that I did? Did I visit the library? Maybe that was when I first met Remy. I think that's when I first went there. Right? For me, it's like it's either the production facility or the library. Facility. Alright, I think I'm gonna go with the facility. I don't recall going here the first time around. Reza was allegedly here at some point. Maybe I should ask Anna. Hello? Anybody here? Yeah, we definitely did not do this. I don't remember seeing this the first time around. Can I help you? I was just looking for Anna. This is her lab, right? Why don't I ever get any recognition? This is my lab as much as it is hers. Either way, Anna is not here. Would that be all? Since you work here, maybe you can help me instead. Oh, of course, your precious Anna isn't here, so you'll have to settle for me. I see how it is. That's not what I meant. Of course, let's just get this over with. You can start by telling me who you are. Here's the short version. My name is Damien. I work in this facility, and I'm unfortunate enough to live the nightmare of having to deal with Anna on a daily basis. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, too. And you are... You don't know who I am? Of course I know who you are, but your assumption validated the point I was going to make. You see, this whole thing about you coming here has been blown out of proportion, like it's some huge event that everyone should be celebrating. Newsflash, not everyone cares. Once both of you are gone, life will return to normal, and we can all go back to what we actually should be doing. I imagine a lot of it has to do with those human myths you have. I can only reiterate, not everyone cares. What exactly did you want again? Okay, so... You can either ask him, has Raza been here recently? How long have you known Anna? What kind of research is Anna doing? Or what kind of research are you doing? Let's ask him about Raza. Do you know anything about Raza's visits to this facility? I've seen him a few times. He would come by to ask about the progress of the generators. There was this one time when Anna told him she'd have news, but when he came over, she just wanted to run some tests on him. Did he go through with it? No, he wanted some compensation, I suppose. Nothing she could offer satisfied him, however, and that was that. Yeah, Raza's kind of a fucking prick, isn't he? Like, he just does not care about them at all. Like, he just wants the generators and he just wants out. Like, he's not, you can tell, like, from the get-go, you can tell, like, he doesn't even want to be here, you know? So what else should we ask him? Let's ask how long he's known her. Why do you care about that? Maybe I want to find out what kind of person she is. You might have an idea. I'll put it this way. I've known her far too long. Well, what kind of research is she doing? Cancer research. She thinks she can cure it, but she's out of her mind. Is that such a bad thing? The way she does it? Yes. She's wasting resources that could be better spent on projects with an actual chance of success. Well, what kind of research are you doing? Right now? Guess who got tasked with running all those tests on your blood? You did? That's right. While she goes out and does whatever the heck she wants, I get to keep an eye on the experiment. Any interesting results? Not just yet, but soon we'll know more about your body than you do. Alright, well, that's all. Thanks for your help. Yeah. Wow, what a charming fellow, huh? You interrogated Damien. Interrogator 1. Got an achievement for that. Alright, so we definitely didn't do that on the first playthrough around, so we'll see how that changes things up, potentially. I don't want to keep skipping, because I'm worried that I'm going to end up screwing something up. I'm not sure how my findings will help, but at least I have something. Look who we have here. Oh yeah, I already read this. Yeah, I'm not going to change anything, is it? I think I did pretty good narrating Maverick too. Because I listened back to both of the streams that I did on this, and some of it was pretty good. Like, really good. I especially liked Katsaru, the voice I did for him. I thought that was really good. Like, I really went above and beyond with him. But, anyway. I love the little, snarl he gives the character, too. But yeah, again, this is no different, second time around. very well written, this game. I think it definitely added a lot, the voice acting for the game as well. It's definitely, I think it added a lot of flair to it. The voice that I did for Sebastian, too. Canadian South Park character. That was funny. Like, I even, like, when I was listening back to the stream, just kind of listening to the voice acting that I did for Sebastian, I even kind of had the picture in my head of, like, the flapping head that they have for South Park Canadian characters. It's really funny. So, again, I don't really think this changes too much either way. Say he should have gave up hours ago. Yeah, changes only slightly, like nothing major. Say thanks. Okay, so this is actually a new piece of dialogue, though. Something a little bit more substantial, because this is different the way I did it this time around. The receipts you got are interesting. There might be something more to them, or they could just be a useless record of his eating habits. You never know what you might find out about a person, their habits, or their plans this way. I'm not sure if there's anything special about Anna wanting Rez's blood. I mean, she's a scientist, so it's natural that she'd be interested in something like that. We'll have to talk to her about it, though. Maybe she's got more details for us. Well done, Prince. This gives us some solid points from which we continue our investigation. In any case, thanks for your help. We really do appreciate it. You're welcome. That should be all then. Since Bryce still hasn't come back, I assume the search is still going on, and I better get out there and help him. Guess it's going to be a long day. Can you find your way back to your apartment? Of course. Alright, I'll see you later. Good luck. Alright, so back to some free time. Oh, we got a message. This is from Remy, so this is different. Hello, this is Remy speaking. I'm calling in regard to the dinner we talked about. I'll have an opening soon and was wondering if you also had the time. Let me know if you were interested. Have a good day. I guess that's my official invitation. Now the question is if I want to go or not. Of course I want to go. Oh, we got another voicemail. This one's from Anna. So we clearly we did good on both of those. I just wanted to update you. I still don't have an open spot in the facility for your test, but I'll be free if you want to cash in your reward. You know, I'm busy, so this is your chance for your date if you even still want to go through with it. Take it or leave it. I don't care much either way. In any case, you know where to find me. I guess the choice is mine. You had 2 messages waiting for you. I wonder why. Popular. Achievement for that. Have 2 messages waiting for you at the same time. So, I'm assuming, right? That's like basically saying like you can get that if you do really good on 2 dates and the same chapter. You'll end up with 2 voicemails, 2 invitations. So, I know what happens on the date here with Anna, because we experienced that in the first playthrough. But not with Remy. So let's do him first. Let's see what happens here. So this is new. I'm liking this. Now I'm starting to get into this because there's some new stuff happening here. Okay, so let me look up, because I don't want to screw this up. Because the whole point of doing multiple playthroughs is to get the good endings with these characters, right? So let me scroll down here on the guide. So here we go. I've got Remy's the choices that I'm supposed to make with him. Alright, so here we go. Thank you again for helping me the other day. Without you, I would have been trapped sorting books for a few more hours. Inviting you over for dinner is the least I can do. So, I'm supposed to say it's no problem? It's no problem, really. It's no problem, really. Besides, I'm also here to learn more about your kind. Spending some time in the library is only appropriate. Well, my gratitude is yours regardless. Anyways, is there anything in particular you would like to eat? So I'm supposed to say... So I guess this actually does not matter. So... You have something vegetarian. I could go for some meat right now. How about steak? Or anything will do. We'll just say anything will do. Let's have him surprise us. I happen to have some nice steaks left. How does that sound? This might take a while, so make yourself at home. With those words, Remy walked into the partially walled-off kitchen. There was no door, so I saw him open the fridge and take out 2 steaks before he sat them on the counter. Soon after, he was already preparing the various ingredients with his somewhat clumsy paws. He was silent for a moment, then lifted his snout and looked at me from over the partition. What is it? Oh, I was just thinking about something. I could help cook if you like. Don't worry about it. Alright. I looked around the apartment as Remy cooked and couldn't help but notice the almost mesmerizing tidiness that permeated the place. Shelves were filled with books, scrolls, magazines, and other various trinkets. Suddenly, the repetitious noise of vegetables being cut ceased as Remy returned from the adjoining room. I'll be back in just a minute. He went down the hall and vanished through the bathroom door. What should I do? Okay, let's look at the pictures. I picked up one of the framed photos to examine it more closely. It was a red dragon. I guessed that it was a female of young adult or college age, though I wasn't sure, as it was still hard to tell without looking at the obvious signs. Her crimson-scaled head was adorned with frills that ran down the back of her neck. She wasn't familiar to me. Okay, so actually, it looks like I actually read up a little bit on this, and it seems like you're supposed to just keep looking at the pictures. Pretty sure. Unless I was thinking of a different character here, but I'm pretty sure. So, it says the second picture showed Remy in his typical attire, tie, glasses, and all. You're supposed to look at the pictures 3 times. The last of the 3 pictures was of another red dragon, who, as far as I could tell, was a fairly young member of its species. It reminded me of a younger version of Remy, although without his typical accessories. He looked at Remy's pictures. Creep. Memories. Yep. So that's one of the achievements you get for that. The bathroom door opened and revealed the white dragon. As he approached, I felt my stomach rumble quietly. I barely heard the muffled sound, but when I saw Remy's ears perk, I realized he had more sensitive ears than I expected. Hungry already, I take it. So I'm supposed to say, I suppose so. Although your stomach already answered that question for you. After entering the kitchen once more, I saw the dragon look over the kitchen partition again. His mouth opened a little, as though he were going to speak, but his brows scrunched with hesitation. Before I could say anything, he shook his head and continued to cook. Soon, I heard the sizzling of frying meat as the delicious smell of steak wafted into the room. Fueled by its fragrant odor, I slowly lost myself to daydreams as I closed my eyes. Damn, he must be really fucking hungry, jeez. Is something wrong? You're salivating. It's nothing. I was just thinking about something. Well, the food is ready. Enjoy. I looked down and saw that a plate was already in front of me, piled with steak and vegetables. Remy was already eating, so I took the knife he had provided and cut off a small corner of my steak. Then I pierced it with the fork, its 3 prongs penetrating the flesh unrelentingly. Slowly, I raised it to my mouth, and my tongue glided over the bare substance briefly as it entered my lips. I took the first bite, a deliciously crisp exterior with a much softer and juicy inside. It melted on my tongue like butter as the taste spread to even the remotest corner of my mouth. It was almost perfect. So, what were you thinking about? Huh? Remy's words snapped me back to reality. You said you were thinking about something. So I'm supposed to say... Actually, I can say anything here. So I can either say, do you live here by yourself? I was thinking about those recent murders. Why did you use a stove to cook? Or nothing in particular. Let's ask if he lives here by himself, although I think I already know the answer to that. Yeah. I do. Honestly, you are the first person to visit in a while. He spoke softly, and his gaze wandered. So we can mention the pictures here. That's interesting. Really? I saw those pictures on the coffee table. I thought you might have a family. Oh no, that's in the past. I'm not even sure why those photos are still there. And I don't actually have children. The picture of the young dragon was the product of a silly little program that combined photos. They take images of two people and create what the pair offspring would supposedly look like. I've always wanted some children of my own, though. I see. How about you, Prince? Would you like to have children one day? So... I could say anything I want here, so I'm gonna say no. Because I don't. I don't think that's something for me. There's nothing wrong with that. It's not for everyone. It must require a lot of hard work. Okay, so we can actually continue on with this little dialogue here. Why did he use a stove to cook? Yeah, you know, they breathe fire. Why did he use a stove to cook? That's actually not a bad question. Why did you use a stove to cook? I mean, can't you just use your fire? Well, for one, not all of us have that ability. Besides, we still appreciate the convenience that comes with appliances like this one. And not everyone wants to eat food cooked with someone else's breath. Breathing fire indoors is also a little unsafe. I see, that makes a lot of sense. You really want to bring up murders at a dinner? I mean, it's not like the thing you want to bring up. I'm not gonna mention that. Nothing in particular. Anyways, how do you like the food? You're supposed to say it is delicious. We could say I would marry this steak if I could. I think that's a little overkill. Yeah, it is delicious. Thank you. I suppose you learn to cook well when you live on your own long enough. So we're supposed to mention Anna too. Mention that you saw him with Anna. By the way, I noticed you went to see Anna the other day. What was that all about? How do you know about that? I saw you two together a little before you left the building. That's kind of a long story. Why were you at the facility in the first place? She said I could come by. Apparently she wants to run some tests on me. Oh, that is so typical of her. Let me tell you something. That woman is trouble. Big trouble. A few years ago, she was discovered performing unapproved and therefore illegal experiments. She had been running them for a while under the assumption that she would be allowed to, but in the end, our consul's ethics committee made the decision against her. Anna's defense was that she did it for the greater good, and that she was confident that her experiments would be approved eventually. She lambasted us for not allowing her research and said our decision was short-sighted and stifling innovation. In the end, no proof of any actual wrongdoing could be found, so she basically got off scot-free. Since then, she's remained under the radar, until now. There are rumors going around about Anna. Surprise, surprise, her little application involves human DNA. Her casual disregard for rules of any kind should tell you what kind of person she is. She does have a brilliant mind, you know, but the way she uses it. She's manipulative, arrogant, abusive. I don't think you should trust her. So, supposed to say, then agree. Then I agree. I agree. Something seems off about her. Soon both of our plates were picked clean. I guess I judged your portion correctly. Unless you want more? I'm good, thanks. That was an interesting steak. What kind of meat was that? Those were aurochs steaks. Are you familiar with that animal? I may have heard of aurochs before. I don't know what that is. Is that a real animal? I've never heard of that. They are rather large, bovine mammals characterized by their horns and body shape. We get a range of products from them, from meat and milk to subproducts like butter and cheese. In addition to leather, felt, oils, and creams, we even use their horns and bones for a variety of things. That sounds similar to an animal we have back at home. Speaking of unfamiliar creatures, why don't you tell me more about your species? Are you referring to me or all of us? Our society is comprised of a number of different species, which you have probably noticed by now. I guess all of you. Let's start with the basics. I'm sure you're aware, but unlike the mammalian eructs, we are reptiles. Though that makes me wonder about you. Based on your fur, I'd guess that you are a mammal, but you're very different from other mammals we know. In the same vein, you don't share many characteristics with our reptiles back home. And by the way, we don't have fur, but hair. What's the difference? So basically, I'm supposed to say there is none. I mean, there's really not a whole lot of a difference, right? There is none. There actually isn't one. They share the same chemical structure, so the distinction is pretty much arbitrary. I suppose it's just a way to distinguish the same structure in humans from that in non-human animals. Is that so? Interesting. I was wondering something. Are you wearing all those coverings to make up for a lack of hair? I suppose that's one reason why humans wear clothes. They also provide warmth and protection and are used to differentiate us from one another. Sometimes, uniforms are used as identification. Other times, clothes are just ornamental. What a person wears can tell us something about the person itself. That sounds complicated. We also have uniforms and wear some things for ornamental reasons, though our uses aren't quite as extensive. That brings up an interesting question. Are you endo or exothermic? We produce our own body heat. That is unusual. Where I come from, all reptiles are exothermic, unless you count birds as reptiles, I guess. But none of your reptiles are sentient, correct? Maybe it has something to do with our different brain structures. Maybe. Now that you've been in our world for a while, how do you like it here? So I'm supposed to say I like the people. Alright. I like the people. That is good to hear. Cultural differences can make things very difficult sometimes, even within the same species. I'm glad things are working out for you so far. Oh, I just remembered. I was able to save my game after all. Your interference was only a minor setback. I'm supposed to say, glad to hear it. I was quite relieved when I found out. You know, if that hadn't worked out so well, I wouldn't have had to consider making you play up to that point again for me. Wouldn't mind playing. I wouldn't mind playing some of your video games. Is that so? Yeah, they're fun. I'd like to see what kind of games you have here. I'll keep that in mind. Perhaps I can show you sometime. You know, I'm glad you're here. Since you arrived in our world, we haven't really had the chance to just sit down and talk. Supposed to agree? I agree. I agree, it's been a busy time for me, as you can imagine. Oh, of course. Thanks for taking the time to pay me a visit. I always have so many things to take care of that it's hard for me to find time to do something simple like this. At least it worked out this time. You do have a point, though. I don't really know that much about you. I know where you work, but most of our conversations so far have revolved around things other than you and me. Why don't you tell me more about yourself? I don't really like talking about myself. Why not? I guess I wouldn't know what to say. I'm not really that interesting. I don't believe you. There's also the uncertainty of not knowing how another person will react to something I say. I don't want to embarrass myself. Hey, at least you told me that. That's something. I suppose. Anyway, now that you've seen my apartment, I'm wondering what your home on the other side of the portal looks like. It's nothing special. Yours is prettier. Actually, everything here looks nice in comparison to back home. Is that so? In some ways, I'm not really looking forward to returning, but it's not like I have a choice in the matter. I suppose you could always visit if you wanted to. It wouldn't be that easy, I'm afraid. There was an extensive process involved for selecting who would go through the portal, and I was only one of many applicants. I'm still surprised that I ended up being chosen. Well, at least you're here now. Indeed. So, what have you been up to since the last time I saw you? You mean since I went into the kitchen to cook the steaks? Supposed to say... Yes, that's what I meant. That's what I meant. Really? No. Oh, I believed you for a moment. Guess you got me there, Prince. Ah, with all the talking, I totally forgot about dessert. Up for some dessert. I'm up for some dessert. And I have just the right thing for you. I'll be just a minute. He neatly stacked her dishes before he took them into one of his forepaws and went back into the kitchen using his other 3 limbs. I couldn't help but think that it looked pretty awkward. When he returned balancing a plate with a rather attractive cake slice in a similar manner, I realized he would have to take multiple trips to carry everything to the table. Don't need to apologize, so... Well, I guess we can choose any of these. So, let's ask him if he needs help. Do you need any help with that? Don't worry about it, I can handle it. You're my guest, after all. Once he placed the first cake slice on the table, he went back to fetch the other. When he approached the table a second time, though, one of the tiny dessert forks started to slip off the plate. Remy reached with his free forepaw in his attempt to save it, but lost balance without its support and fell over. In an instant, the plate, fork, and cake slice flew through the air. The dish and silverware clattered as the pristine cake crumbled into a sad heap on the floor. Oh no! Oh no! For a few moments, there was silence as Remy and I looked at the result of the blunder. I'm sorry, Prince. So, don't need to apologize. Oh, damn, you could be a real fucking prick in this. You can say, that's fine, I'll just eat your slice instead. That's fucked up. That's so fucked up. You don't need to apologize. This isn't just about you and your cake. This always happens to me, no matter how hard I try. You have proper hands, so do some of the other species. How could someone like me even be a librarian? Not a day goes by without me dropping a scroll and unfurling it across the room. But the customers don't care or pity me too much to say anything. It's a common sight for them, after all. This is about Emra, isn't it? I guess it is. I just don't see why someone like me got to be librarian when there are others more qualified for the position. Or who were at least capable of not dropping the inventory on a daily basis. She makes fun of you for it. I knew it. I mean, why else would she have me do these tasks all the time? Sorting books, carrying things from one place to another. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't work somewhere where my worth is only in the entertainment I provide. Why don't you look for a new job? These positions have terms similar to those of ministers. If I ended my employment prematurely, it wouldn't look great. How long do you have left? A while. So, actually I could say whatever I want here. Okay. You should resign, consequences be damned. Can't you report her to a superior or something? I mean, she's kind of head honcho, right? So, can't really report her. You'll just have to endure it. Ah, jeez. It's kind of a tough call, man. I mean... I don't know how severe his consequences are gonna be, so I don't want to give him bad advice. Shit, I guess just endure it, man. Maybe I do. I just wanted to have a nice evening with you, and now it ended up like this. I shouldn't have brought that up. Then let's not talk about it if any further. We can still share the other slice if you like. Alright. I helped him clean up, and after we were done, we shared the remaining slice of cake. It seemed unreal that someone with his personality could still eat his half with a single bite, but I took much longer with my tiny fork. By the end of dessert, he seemed a little different, though I couldn't pinpoint it how. Eventually, we said our goodbyes and left. Alright, well, I think that's a good spot to leave off. I know it's kind of a short stream, but it's getting late. So I'm going to call it here. I'll try and pick this up again tomorrow and continue this some more. We're definitely going to be continuing this. I think this is going to be good because we're actually starting to get into some new scenes here, right? Because I've only seen, I think, like the first one, maybe two scenes with some of the characters. So now that we're getting into it, I can start narrating again, and we'll begin to see some new stuff, which I think is going to be really good for the playthrough. So I apologize that this part was a little bit boring, not really all that interesting. It's kind of a slow burn, right? But now we're getting into some more interesting stuff. So we'll see where this goes, and hopefully we can get some good endings for the characters, and we'll see what happens, right? So that being said, thank you guys so much. I'm actually going to save this into a new slot just in case. So with that being said, thank you guys for checking it out, and catch you guys later.